70 years ago, a small group of British businessmen travelled to China. They became known as the icebreakers. Now meet the bridge builders, the individuals continuing the icebreaker spirit to open up our world.
I'm Stephen Perry and I'm Chairman of London Export Corporation and Chairman of the 48 Group Club. My father's first visit to China was 1953, and in 1951-52 he met with Zhou Enlai's private secretary, personal emissary, who came to London to ask people in Cambridge for advice on somebody who could reopen trade with China. And for a man who'd never really been out of the East End of London, it was an incredible experience and an incredible opportunity. The original icebreaker mission, it was people from lots of different ranges of life and people from lots of businesses who wanted to open up or restart their businesses with China. There were 19 of them, and they signed an agreement, and it was all carried out. I joined right after I was president of my students' union, and I went to Beijing in 1972, 50 years ago now, and I was part of the group that sold the first commodities from America to China. And being around the Nixon mission and that background made me feel a part of history. And soon after that I went to work in America to build trade between America and China. And it was just fascinating learning about America and learning about China and finding ways to bring the two countries together in trade. It was ice-breaking, but it was, in a sense, it was very easy because it was so enjoyable. I met such interesting people. What I decided was my main mission, to understand China and how it worked. And that's been a long journey. It's been 20, 30 years. I had no idea in 1978 the Chinese were going to transform agriculture and mechanize it and move 800 million people off the land into towns and cities and build the biggest export industry in the world. I think I probably irritate people because I say to them, you don't understand what these people are like. They have the best grasp of what it is they want to do, and it's based in reality, not in fantasy. And then they go out and they do it and they test it and they change and they alter, but they're absolutely committed to being the most advanced, modernized economy by 2049. People like us said, you can't join WTO, your markets will be taken over by foreigners. And they would smile and say, thank you for telling us. But they did. So with the WTO entry, everybody thought it would be a real difficult time for China. Actually, China drove straight into the middle of it and became the largest exporting nation. If you're not trying to achieve win-win, then you're going to have trouble in China. And I say to Chinese who come out of China looking to win, you won't succeed. Unless you can work out how to work with the foreigner, you're going to find it very difficult. It is a different concept of business. Most businesses are operating on the basis of win. But China has a much better understanding of what win-win means. It's not just a phrase, it's a reality of something that will be sustained. The bridge building project, the CGTN, is giving us a great deal of opportunity to reflect upon. It is only by this type of thinking that we're going to find out what works. If we all knew what would work, we would all do it. But there has to be exploration, and we have to give people their head in order to try different things. You know, the Chinese have a view that the world can only work if the countries of the world work together, and that the days of empires are past. And they genuinely believe that if they try to be an empire, they will fail. If we understand that China is going to be the trendsetter of the next 20 or 30 years, that is the country which we need to get alongside and to understand what they're doing and why they're doing it. It'll transform the world.